So this is our Android application. It's called LoanEasy, and as soon as I open the application, I'll be able to see two options. The first option is to log in as a lender, and the second option is to log in as a borrower. Let me just tell you that the front end of the application has been developed on Android and Java, and the backend has been developed on machine learning and Python. So as soon as I log in as a borrower, I'll be able to see two things on screen. First is the credit score, and second is the credit limit. So credit score is kind of a personal loan score which is given to every user. It's the credibility score. So let's say if a user is able to repay a loan on time, his credit score will increase, and ultimately his credit limit will also be increased. And if a user fails to repay the loan on time, his credit score will be decreased. So three options are there. First option is to apply for the loan, second option is to track the status for the loan, and the third option is to repay the loan. So let me just click on apply for loan. So our model basically rely on the data points that are not traditionally considered while giving loans. So let's say if you are taking the loan from the bank will not consider these alternative data sources. But these alternative data sources provide very important details about borrowers' financial behavior. What bank needs is collateral, but anyone can take the loan from our application by just entering all the details which are being asked, because all these alternative data sources are very crucial in deciding whether the user will be able to repay the loan or not. Basically all these alternative data sources will be fed into the machine learning model, which will predict the risk score of a particular user. So let me just fill all the alternative data sources. So my name is Simran, my age is 27, my state is Rajasthan, and let's say my district is Jaipur. I have 5 family members and I want to take the loan for 1 year. Now, the sector in which I'm currently employed is, let's say, I'm a staff in a hotel. So I'm just going to click on trade, hotels, transport, communication sector. So now let me just tell you that sector in which you are employed, this field is basically mapped to the growth of the sector in previous years. So let's say if a user is employed in a really good sector, that means if the growth of that sector has been very nice in previous years, so the risk score of that particular user would be very low. And let's say if the user has not been employed in a very good sector, that means that growth of the sector has not been very good in previous years. So of course the risk score for that particular user would be very high. Now let me just enter the salary. Let's say salary is 3 lakh per annum, and qualification is undergraduate. Loan categories, let's say I want to take up the loan to open a business. So I'll click on business, and my business type is basically, let's say I want to open a business in textile and fashion domain. And also this value is also mapped to the profitability quotient of the business, which ultimately decides the risk score. So the business founding year is, let's say, 2021. The profit per annum of my business is, let's say, 90,000 for now. So yeah, 90,000. Next is user is basically asked to upload the TV, water and electricity bills of last month, so that the machine learning model could basically check that whether they are repaid on time or not. So this is a very important alternative data source. Also the loan history is asked from the user. So I have not taken any loan in the past. So this is an individual loan which I'm applying for, and let's say the loan amount is 1,000 because my credit limit is 1,000. So of course I can't apply for a loan more than that. And I'll just submit my application. Now, let me just tell you that all the data which is being provided by the user will be given to the machine learning model, and the machine learning model will basically predict the risk score of that particular user. So let's just go on the lender's side now. So yeah, let me just log in as a lender. So as you can see that the risk score has been predicted by the model. So the risk score in this case has been predicted as 56 by the machine learning model. So on the lender's side, the platform is not selling the entire loan to a single investor. Instead, it does a little bit of quote unquote securitization, where it just breaks up the loan into little chunks. So for example, 1,000 rupees loan will be broken up into 4 chunks of 250 rupees each. range, as you can see here. So investors and lenders, they can choose to invest in different increments depending upon the risk score. That's why the risk score is given to the lender, so that they can ultimately decide whether to invest in that particular chunk or not. Also, the identity of the user has been kept confidential here, because there have been several instances in the past where the Chinese apps, the lenders, were basically harassing the borrowers to repay the loan, and hence the identity of the particular borrower has been kept totally confidential. So yeah, that was our application. Now let me just summarize. On the borrower side, a particular borrower is filling up the form with the alternative data sources. Absolutely no collateral is required in this case. That is in our instant loan application. No collateral is required, and only alternative data sources are required. So a user basically fills up all the alternative data sources in the form. The machine learning model basically predicts the risk score of a particular user, and after predicting the risk score of a particular user, the risk score is basically visible on the lender's side. When the risk score is visible on the lender's side, the lender basically decide whether to give the loan or not. So yeah, that was basic functionality of our application. I hope you liked it. Thank you and have a nice day.